Welcome everyone. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. May Allah's peace, mercy and blessings be upon us all, inshallah. Dear friends, in many of the problems we face in life, I see that my Lord wants us to show complete surrender and trust in Him in every matter and in every dimension. Please don't say, not the same subject again. Yes, I dwell on this subject a lot. I know it, but believe me, I try to address it in different dimensions every time. Even my master Bediüzzaman says that the Risalas were dictated to me because I needed them the most. If even he says that, I think I need to understand this subject in depth, to comprehend it, to put it into practice, to surrender my heart in every situation. So that's why this subject again. Surrender is the common point, the cornerstone of Islam and all religions. Surrendering is crucial in all areas of our lives, whether it's in providing for ourselves, nurturing our relationships with our spouse, children, parents, or friends, or tackling any challenges we may face. Accepting surrender as an essential element is immensely important for personal growth and resolving difficulties. When I was young, I used to think that intellect and intelligence were very important. They are important. It is one of the main differences between animals and humans. Also, when individuals are young, they tend to lead lives focused on achieving success. Hence, we constantly strive to establish ourselves, stand independently, and fulfill our potential in professional, academic, career, and business endeavors. Undoubtedly, the verses highlight this when the Almighty Allah challenges our capacity for reasoning and contemplation, prompting us to consider our deeds with the question, "Do you not think?" But now I realize better that those steps were only the first steps. Following the path guided by the heart and soul is a safer choice. Just mentioned in the 89th verse of Surah Surah says, "Only those who come to Allah with a pure heart will be saved." Many people in the past claimed that having a pure heart was sufficient. This saying, without the need for worship, may have caused us to undervalue the importance of worship. I want to emphasize that, as much as we need to pay attention to our prayers and show sensitivity, we should not forget that it is also important to do our prayers with a pure heart, and we fully concentrate. The 45th verse of Surah Al-Ankabut says, "Read what has been revealed to you from the Quran and keep up the prayer diligently. Surely prayer deters from immorality and evil. The remembrance of Allah is more important than anything else. Allah knows what you do." If we consider this verse, it once again emphasizes the importance of good deeds done with a sincere heart along with worship. Again in Surah Safat, verses 83 and 84, it says, "Surely Abraham was one of those who followed the way of Noah, for he came to his Lord with a pure heart." While living our daily lives, we often believe that we are in control of everything and attribute our success solely to ourselves. We possess an inflated ego that convinces us that without our involvement, things would not work out. We cling to the idea that everything must align with our individual desires. However, it is merely an illusion created by our ego. It is important to remember that Allah, who created our minds, consciousness, subconsciousness, souls, and all our faculties, knows us better than we know ourselves. Allah understands what is best for us and what will lead to our ultimate good. Despite Allah's immense knowledge about us, we as human beings often insist on imposing our own ideas and preferences. We insistently shape and manipulate everything according to our own limited understanding. We desire control over every aspect of our lives. When circumstances deviate from our desired path, we may question Allah's love for us and wrongly assume that our prayers are ignored. We compare ourselves to others, questioning why they have been granted certain blessings while we have put in significant effort and fervent prayers, only to be seemingly ignored. It is essential to correct our perceptions and seek refuge in Allah. Instead of blaming and complaining about what Allah grants us, we should place our trust in His wisdom and grace. When we try to understand the events that happen to us, if we can look from a higher perspective, why am I experiencing such a situation? Why am I being made to watch such an event? Why did I feel the need for this? And when you find out why I might have chosen this, when you find the answers to these, when you understand what my Lord wants to show you, you can understand and transform that event in your destiny. Let's consider the sequence of events. For instance, are any of you currently responsible for caring for a parent with Alzheimer's? What are some things that you have accumulated in the past but are unable to release? These could include feelings of resentment, anger, sadness, and fear, as well as unresolved traumas. As parents, we may try to forget what we are unable to let go of as a means of self-protection. As children of parents who cannot release their grip on the past, do we also hold resentment towards them? Is it possible that our parents are rendering us a service by presenting this as a penance for our own failure to acknowledge, confront, and suppress certain issues? If we can comprehend this concept and free ourselves from negative emotions, then we can fulfill our caring duties with love, enthusiasm, and a mindset of worship, resulting in a lighter burden. Moreover, if we can trust in our Lord, set aside our egos, and become observers of reality, we will be closer to Allah, inshallah, and become better servants. It is imperative that we reflect on ourselves in every life circumstance. In this particular case, we realize that illnesses serve a purpose for us. It is crucial to recognize that every event in our lives offers a lesson. In this way, we come to understand that diseases may be precisely what we require. Accepting everything that occurs in our lives with love is the first step. Calamities and diseases are all experiences that we need. By accepting them with love, we can begin to comprehend the messages they convey. Do you suffer from constant stomach upsets or hair loss? In this case, the stomach is connected to the earth element. When stomach acid increases, it puts pressure on the water system, and this system weakens. When the water system is weakened, it affects hair, skin, nails, and bone structure. Stomach acid can also damage the bladder, urinary tract, and kidneys. This can lead to hair loss, skin and nail deterioration, and osteoporosis. The need to manage and control a lot gave rise to the stomach control system. This point is very important. If you say, I want everything to be the way I want it to be, or this aspect is extremely crucial to me, or I desire things to align exactly as I want, without me, things simply cannot function, and I have to manage them. All these actions are based on arrogance and the desire to control. The masculine energy in the stomach overexhausts the stomach, and this is even more pronounced in women. Not being able to appreciate the flow of the system is an important point here. We demand something from God. Now, do you trust that you will be given exactly what you need? Will you be able to stop interfering and give up your desire to rule? Or do you want everything to be the way you want it to be? Can we stop judging and just be witnesses? Can we move from thinking, if I do it, it will happen, to witnessing, God has ordained it this way, how beautifully He has ordained it? Remember, all illnesses are linked to our thoughts and feelings, dear friends. Do you experience challenges with filtering blood and water in your kidneys? Are you struggling with kidney stones or other kidney-related issues? Do you frequently experience kidney pain? In the course of our lives, where do we feel internally blocked, and where do we harbor our fears? It is important for us to acknowledge these areas, because the kidneys hold our fears and worries. How do we suppress ourselves? What actions do we take to destroy, suppress, or exclude our own creativity, out of fear of how others may perceive us. We must uncover the answers to these questions. By releasing mental blockages, opening our hearts and emotions, and allowing the energy to flow freely within us, we can remove the obstacles in our bodies. In doing so, the stone in our kidneys will be expelled, leaving us cleansed and rejuvenated. The more we surrender to Allah in the face of events, the less we are controlled by our egos. We should allow Allah or the system of causes He has created to guide and shape our lives. Rather than imposing our own will, we should let Allah's direction flow through us. Letting go of our egos and allowing the Creator to manifest within us is essential. But how often do we feel the need to interfere in life? Who do we desire to control and manage? Who do we demand obedience from? These tendencies to control and change others or manipulate external circumstances are worth examining in our own lives. Have we always felt a sense of obligation throughout our lives, constantly feeling the need to do this or that, go here or there? Let us allow everything to flow effortlessly instead of struggling against it. Instead of dictating, let us say a prayer to God, expressing our intentions and seeking ease, mercy, and goodness in our actions. It may seem as if we are in control of everything, but if we were unable to take a simple breath for a few seconds, our world would change instantly. And when we pass away, everything continues without us. So we need not fear the collapse of the world. Suppose you have understood submission in terms of sustenance. You surrender like the surrender of birds. This example is in the Holy Quran. Birds are shown as an example in the verse. These birds leave their nests famished in the morning, without worry of their own hunger or their young ones being fed. They diligently search for food to nourish themselves and carry extra sustenance to nourish their offspring. Consequently, sustenance is graciously provided as we understand it. The more you help Allah's servants, the more Allah will give you. But here we should give sincerely, not expecting Allah to give, because we cannot deceive Allah, can we? What is my duty as a human being? When I see someone in a difficult situation as a human being, I should help them. I will give with sincerity, without calculations. Okay, now let's say we have surrendered. Are we able to exhibit the same surrender in every aspect of our lives? Have we surrendered in education, in business life, in achieving success in every field, finishing a degree, learning a language? Inshallah, let us review these things. For instance, if your doctor tells you that your illness is incurable and you need to live like that, or that you are infertile and cannot have children, or that your child's disease has no cure and will never improve, these are exceptionally daunting prognoses. However, I have witnessed cases where the seemingly impossible has become achievable. God's options are limitless. Every day I observe new miracles in my clients. With faith and surrender to Allah's will, unexpected solutions can emerge. There is always hope. Many parents have approached us with their children's issues, and when they resolved their own issues, their children's issues were resolved as well. These instances are noteworthy, and thankfully, we continue to address them. God is the ultimate problem solver. We simply serve as channels. The barriers we face are often those we place in our own minds. Do we insist on our own methods, or do we let life find its way? Can we entrust our problems to the God and let go of insisting our own way? Do we say, "O Lord, I have left it to you for God Almighty to solve"? We should remember that Allah always desires what is best for us and encourages us to pray with the promise of His response. Doesn't our Master say, "Ask Allah for everything from the grass of your sheep to the rope of your sheep"? This profound wisdom is embodied in a hadith, emphasizing the importance of approaching Allah with purity in our hearts. With sincere hearts, We recognize that the best outcomes will be granted, and trust that what unfolds is ultimately for our benefit. We willingly accept and embrace His will, without asserting our own desires or interfering in the lives of others. This aligns with the Islamic concept of predestination. Yet, without inner peace and self-love, we may be overshadowed by a persistent feeling of being unloved and unworthy. This self-neglect manifests physically as well, depriving us of essential nutrients and leading to a weakened state. Our blood cells lose the ability to sustain and nourish life within us. We essentially become lifeless vessels, suffering from anemia, rooted in the feeling of unworthy. As a result, we become depressed, lie motionless, lose motivation. Some of us even wish to be dead. Inevitably, these struggles are a means for us to grasp our own worth. They provide an opportunity for self-discovery and personal growth, paving the path towards becoming devoted servants of Allah. By refraining from self-condemnation and avoiding unjustly judging others, we accomplish inner harmony and serenity with Allah and the divine decree. Our self-love expands to encompass everyone for the sake of Allah, fostering a universal sense of compassion. May this aspiration be granted, inshallah. Yes, let's adopt a positive mindset and transform every situation into a favorable one. This is the primary aim of every therapy anyway. Man is the most precious creature created by God. To further emphasize the worth of individuals, especially in regard to feelings of guilt and insignificance, I will create a video specifically addressing this topic. In this video, I will extensively discuss the development of self-esteem. I encourage you to watch these videos and revisit these topics to reinforce their understanding. Additionally, it is essential to internalize the idea of how significant and precious human beings are in the eyes of Allah. Turkish society, particularly girls, often experiences a sense of worthlessness. Why is this the case? It can be attributed to the inheritance of certain genes from our ancestors, where boys were cherished while girls were inadequately valued. These societal norms have become deeply embedded in our collective consciousness. However, they can only be eradicated through deliberate awareness. For instance, the feeling of being unworthy and unloved is instilled in a girl at an early age, if she is born when a boy is expected, and this belief system persists throughout her life. My esteemed Prophet, my beloved Prophet, in order to remove the negativity in the collective mind of society, stated that those parents who successfully raise 3 daughters will have their offspring safeguarded against the fires of hell. Their daughters will serve as a protective shield. Dear ladies, if your spouse and children display excessive anger and you are at a loss understanding the reasons behind it, we should make an effort to comprehend the situation from our own perspective, without pointing fingers at anyone else. This might also affect the husband and children, but if they acknowledge this issue and seek remedies, if they express their discomfort and desire for change, we will organize suitable treatment procedures. We will assess the situation from their standpoint and discover a resolution that will enable them to identify the aspects they need to alter. Naturally, what exists in the external world is also reflected in our inner world. It is a mirroring manifestation of the external. As a mother observing displeased husbands and children, I must contemplate what changes I must make within myself. My spouse and sons symbolize my masculine side. Where is my masculine side constrained, such that it requires an inflow of angered masculine energy? Anger serves as a catalyst for action. I wonder what spiritual dimensions of mine have I neglected? Am I losing control and unwittingly attracting angry circumstances and individuals due to feelings of vulnerability and powerlessness? If I enhance my spiritual abilities, fortify my masculine side, recognize my worth in my spiritual blueprint, strengthen my connection with God, grow spiritually, diligently and correctly carry out my rituals, and make my prayers affirming, then I will become impervious to the anger projected by my wife and children. During my prayers, I will refrain from using negative expressions such as being consumed by fire, cast into hell, and so forth. Instead, I shall implore, O God, protect me from the torment of fire, the suffering of the grave, and the vices of this world and the hereafter. Bestow upon me goodness and beauty in this life and the hereafter. Treat me with your divine mercy. Grant me paradise and the sight of your majestic glory. May your lives be eternally filled with goodness and beauty, and may you forever bask in love, dear viewers.